Hey guys, how you doing? So I figured I'd make another video while the internet is still open. Seems everyone's getting banned everywhere for almost any reason, except on Steam, by the way. And what I wanted to talk to you about was an incredibly riveting and exciting subject of bioethics of gene modification. I know, I probably lost half of you just right then and there, so you know what? We're doing this. So the reason why this came up, because there was a scientist in China by the name of, probably gonna butcher this, of He Jiankhu. Sorry, He Jiankhu, if I'm butchering your name here. But anyway, this Chinese scientist decided to modify embryos and implant them in a woman, and they resulted in 2 live births, twins named Lulu and Nana. Now what was different was that the genes that got modified was with regards to receptivity to HIV. So apparently the genes only took in one of the twins, but apparently the twin that got it is now substantially less likely to catch HIV. Sounds nice, right? Problem. This scientist did the research in secret, had recently published a set of bioethics with regards to this kind of work, and while he was contradicting his own standards at the same time, and caused a massive uproar in the global scientific community, and rightly so. However, this got me thinking, what about the bigger question? Probably a question I ask way too much. Head in the clouds. Once the technology is fully mature and developed, what kind of gene modifications should we even be doing in the first place? So the way I see it, there are 3 categories: curing disease, designer babies, and changing the human experience. First one, curing disease. This one I don't have a problem with. If we found genes that increase the risk of someone's cancer or Alzheimer's or some other inheritable disease, and we could modify those genes so the person doesn't get the disease, or at least is a lot less likely to get the disease, and doesn't pass that disease onto their offspring and their descendants, then not only do I think that kind of gene modification is okay, I think there would be a strong ethical argument in favor of actually going and doing that kind of stuff proactively, because then not only are you sparing the person involved of future pain and suffering, you're sparing future generations of pain and suffering. However, you don't want to get too crazy with the number of genes you're changing, which leads us to point number 2. Designer babies. This is the one that gets all the attention and gets a lot of the controversy, and I think rightfully so. So if parents could design their babies any way they want, any hair color, eye color, boost IQ, boost athletic ability, I mean anything really, what they would lead to is a bunch of parents rushing to get their kids modified in the embryo or maybe even after the fact, just so their kids could have a chance to compete for the good jobs, the good positions, and have a positive effect. Yes, there are some parents that want to stick with the natural ways of doing things, and I think that's a perfectly valid choice to make, because I mean, humans have been reproducing the natural way for eons. So if parents are going around and they're all picking the same genes, this could actually lead to a significant narrowing of the gene pool. Which, I mean, yes, you could say that might be better because people would be on average more intelligent, more athletic, able to do more things. But on the one hand, it's like if you increase people's IQ level, you need to also find some way to increase people's wisdom and maturity at the same time to balance it out. Because if you don't, then the same human nature that we currently have is just going to get magnified. So if you have someone that has a loving heart and loves to be good to other people, then they're going to be simply more intelligent in pursuing that goal, and that would be a good thing. But if you have someone who is vindictive, mean, wants revenge on everyone for everything, making that person more intelligent and more capable to do what they're going to do is not a good idea. If we're going to go down the road of making people smarter over time, then there's got to be some balance to be had there. One potential option that I see that gets us closer to this kind of balance that I'm talking about is the idea of natural variation. So the idea is that if 2 parents want to custom make their child's genome, they can do so, but they're limited to the genes that both parents bring to the table. So if they wanted to select the smartest, best looking, most athletic kid they possibly could, then they would have to work with the genes that both of them have. So this way, they're sticking within the range that they might have naturally had if they had kids the old-fashioned way, but they're simply selecting the best from within that range. So you're not going crazy far outside of it. You're not picking the genes that one person in a billion might have. You're picking something that came down through your family line. You're just picking the best of what you may have gotten if you went out and had 100 kids, hypothetically. That, I think, is the best way to probably have our cake and eat it too, because that way you can still screen out genetic disease. You can still set kids up for the best life they can possibly have without taking too big a step all at once. So yes, you might be able to increase someone's IQ by, this is just hypothetically, but say 5-10 points. I mean, that's noticeable, but it's not going to make a massive night and day shock change to the culture and society around them. It gives people time to adjust and adapt, and it's not that far outside the range of what we'd normally experience anyway. However, this leads to the third category, human experience. So someday scientists might discover some crazy special gene that gives people the ability to say 5x their intelligence or 10x their strength. I mean, increasing abilities that way would significantly change the experience of what it is to be human, and would basically just make it that one person would be on a level completely on their own and everyone else just couldn't compete, and would probably lead to a separation of the human species, which, given what human nature is, would likely just breed conflict. Probably the best science fiction example of this is eugenics war from the Star Trek universe. So when it comes to that third category of gene modification, I think those kind of things should be available to either everyone or no one. Because I mean, if we decide we want to be a species that can survive the vacuum of space, can do fractal calculus in our heads and that kind of stuff, which on one hand does actually sound pretty cool, then we shouldn't really be intentionally creating others. We should be focusing on, is this where we really want to go? But one thing I think we really do need to watch out for is humans playing God, basically. Once the technology develops to where we can rewrite DNA at will, we will have, practically speaking, gained one of the powers of God. But if we also don't have the wisdom and the knowledge of God and maturity of God to go along with that, then we're setting ourselves up for some real trouble here. So we take everything that we do poorly and just magnify it that much more. I mean, there needs to be a balance there between ability and wisdom on how to use that ability. So thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked it, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you want to follow me further, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Steemit @ThinkingLBT. And have a wonderful day.